It is Tuesday, which of course means it's time to answer the questions that you guys send in every single week on the Brendan Plays forums at brendanplays.com/forums or in the YouTube comment section down below. We are available on Spreaker, and speaking of Spreaker, this week we hit number 1 on wrestling, which is amazing achievement. Really happy to be finally number 1. I know it's Spreaker, and I know some podcasts don't actually use Spreaker or yada, but nonetheless, I'm very pleased to be there, and it's a great achievement, and it's a minor one, but it's still awesome at the same time. And we've been doing the podcast thing for about 6 months now, so it's taken a while, but we've gotten there, and our stats just wipe the floor with everyone else in the same section. So we deserve that number 1 spot. Very happy to be there. I don't know the ranking system on Spreaker. I think it's more based on how many shows you put out each week, and I only put out 1 show a week, so that kind of hinders my chances of getting higher up in the rankings. But very happy to be number 1 on wrestling, and we are actually number 8 on sports on Spreaker as well, which is phenomenal. I actually didn't even know that. I only checked that this week as I was kind of checking around. I'm like, oh wow, number 1 on wrestling. Well, how am I doing on sports? And I was absolutely shocked to be, in the top 10 on sports and Spreaker. So that's really cool. Very pleased. And I got to thank each and every one of you guys that continue to download and watch the show using Spreaker. I mean, if you download it off iTunes, it runs through Spreaker. We host the show on Spreaker, so everything that goes through iTunes and our other mediums is run through Spreaker. So that's why our stats are as high as they are on Spreaker. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys that continue to support the show on YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, of course, and wherever you guys may be watching the show. I really appreciate it, and we're doing very well. So very happy. Today was a bit of a long day for me, a 5-hour drive today for me. A bit of a road trip. Very tired, very exhausted, but it is Tuesday, of course, so we have to kind of get the show done. And watching Monday Night Raw this week really didn't help. I mean, we're going to get into it later on, but Monday Night Raw this week was awful. I mean, I try my hardest to be positive. I try my hardest to enjoy the show. But this week, I just couldn't do it. I don't know whether I was just bored and tired as it is. But watching Raw this week was really tough. It was a really boring show. Nothing happened that really interests me at all. So it's been a very tough time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, the latter part of this year has been pretty rough, so I'm hoping that things pick up, but I'm really doubting it. So, before we get into this week's show, though, I want to give a shout out and a bit of a plug to the game called Spades Plus. We've had an opportunity this week to promote this game and let you guys know that it's available on Android and iTunes. Spades Plus is basically a great way to play spades. It's the card game you guys all know and love. And if you do like spades, and this is a really good app to have on your phone, it's free, of course. And if you download the game, you'll help support Brendan Plays, which would be amazing. Available on Android and iTunes. And basically, I had a bit of a play around with it. I'm not a big spades fan. I don't really get it. It's been a long time since I played it. So when I got on it this week, I had no idea what I was doing, but I realized that this is actually a really well-made game. It has over 1 million downloads on Android, which of course is what I use. So that was really cool. I was like, wow, this game's actually really good. And you play online with other people. I like to play online poker, online Texas Hold'em. So it's a very similar concept to that, where you get money, you enter in, and you play online against other people. I'm not sure if you can play offline, but you can also set up your own private table with friends. It's just cool. If you like spades, this is really the best spades game, I think, out on the App Store right now on Android and iOS. So it's called Spades Plus. If you click the link in the description down below, it'll take you to the page. So this offer is only available to residents in the United States. So get on there, get this app, and support Brendan Plays, and play some spades. Just check it out, and let me know what you think of the game. I think it's personally pretty cool, so check that out. Also, this week we have some Patreon shout-outs. The first month of Patreon has gone through, and I once again want to thank everyone that supported the Patreon, and I'm going to give some shout-outs to a couple of channels here today who have come along and supported the Patreon, and of course, $10 will give you a shout-out on Let's Talk Tuesdays, as well as a plug for your channel. So I want to shout out Bizzy B's YouTube channel. Bizzy B, he makes some Raw reviews, some Universe Mode videos. He also does a lot of good things for the forums as well, like some simulations. And he's starting a brand new NBA 2K16 My Career, which I think is really, really cool. He's got a great voice, and I think he's really entertaining. So make sure you go and check out Bizzy B. Link to him will be in the description down below. And of course, he's an honorary Brendan Plays forums member. So shout out to Bizzy B, my boy Bizzy. Thank you very much for supporting the Patreon. And of course, you guys all know him. If you've seen my streams before, you know what he's all about. His name is Samir, my boy Samir. He's got a Twitch channel that he wants to promote to everyone. Samir306 on Twitch. The link will be in the description down below. He plays a bit of everything, really. And I know he's always on my streams. We always play games together, and he's a great kid. So check out his Twitch channel. The link to it will be in the description down below, as I said. And give him a follow and tell him that Brendan Plays sent you, Samir306 on Twitch. So shout out to a couple of those guys. I'm going to do some more shout outs in the next couple of weeks as well, so don't bore everyone with shout out. So over the next few weeks we'll do some more shout outs. So if you have pledged $10 or more, make sure you send me your YouTube or your Twitch or whatever you want me to promote. And of course you can get on the Patreon and support Brendan Plays by using the Patreon. It's probably the best way to support the channel and keep it going. Link to that in the description down below. So alright, okay. Oh wait, no, I was going to say that's done with the shout-outs, but I've forgot one more thing. I will be giving away a copy of WWE2K16 this month for all the Patreon users that have pledged $5 or more. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to give away the game, but I will be giving away probably in the next couple of weeks to everyone that has supported me on the Patreon. So you guys can pledge and support Brendan Plays on Patreon and still get involved in that. I think I might give a Twitch giveaway as well, perhaps when WWE2K16 is released, then I might give away that. But if you have WWE2K16 already on the pre-order and you do win the giveaway, you will get a different game of your choice. So very, very cool. Make sure you check out the Patreon for more information there. Not sure how I'm going to give it away. I'm thinking, I know Keely told me that she wants me to do a guess how many lollies are in the jar or something like that. And I was like, well, that's a lot of effort, so I don't know, it could be pretty cool. I'm thinking about doing something crazy, maybe making a video about it for people to kind of guess and whatever. But I think it's going to be pretty cool. I might try and think of something cool to do for the giveaway. And that's giving away WWE2K16, so that's pretty awesome. And speaking of WWE2K16, the Season Pass has been revealed somewhat. Not everything in it, but a few little details has been revealed. So I think this is pretty interesting what they've kind of got going on here. So what they've announced is they're going to be 30 different superstars 30 different characters. So 30 different superstars, divas, probably some managers as well in the Season Pass. It was leaked on the Xbox Live store. There's going to be over 30 new moves. You get a bonus Hall of Fame showcase featuring 7 classic matchups. And of course the Accelerator Pack, which allows you to get everything unlocked straight away. And it does not include the My Player Kickstart. And I mean, it's not bad. I mean, obviously it's not going to include the Four Horsewomen, as everyone's been hoping that they'll include, unfortunately. But you know, I think it's cool that we're going to get 30 extra new playable characters. I think that's quite a lot to get. I'm not exactly sure who they could bring in. I'm guessing probably a lot of legends. I would say they might, you know, just throw in some guys from the Golden Era, maybe the New Generation Era, something around those lines. And then maybe, you know, might see the Lost Matadors go in the game, and, you know, some of the other people that may have missed out from NXT, perhaps. I'm not exactly sure, but it does sound quite promising. I mean, 30 extra playable characters is pretty cool, so I'm very happy about that. And I dare say we might see a lot of managers, because I don't think we've really seen that many managers announced. I'm not sure if they'll just be in the game, or if they're actually going to be announced, or if they were announced. I don't really recall. So, yeah, I think managers might be kind of missing in this game. I dare say we'll see Heyman and Lana, I suppose, but really other than that, who else is there really going to be? So that'll be definitely interesting to see as well, how many kind of managers they might put in there as well, and what they do with that. But I'm going to be doing a W2K16 extra episode of Let's Talk Tuesdays for the Patreon users. I probably will give that to them a week or two early, and then I might release it to everyone else, because I think it's going to be a really interesting topic of conversation that I want everyone to hear. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just talk about WWE 2K15, give my full recap review, what went wrong, what went right, and then we'll move on to WWE 2K16 and what I think is going to happen in the game and kind of the future of the WWE game series. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Planning on doing that maybe next week or something like that. So everyone that's supported the Patreon will certainly get that one. And I may or may not release it to everyone else later on. But I think it's going to be a pretty cool podcast. And obviously, if you want to send me in some questions for that show about WWE 2K15, 16, and the WWE gaming series in general, make sure you do leave them in the comment section down below or over on the forums. And I'll be sure to put all the WWE 2K questions aside so I can answer them all on this special show. So that should be cool. I will be doing a special extra Let's Talk Tuesdays every single month, and I'll probably try and pick a theme of what I want to talk about. Perhaps I might do a bit of a gaming kind of episode in general, or maybe a sports one. I don't know, just whatever I kind of feel like talking about. That's going to be extra, and trying to answer some Patreon questions and things like that. So that's the first one I've got planned, and that might go up next week or something like that when I have a chance, because this is really going to be a very busy month for me. I've got a lot of assignments due. I've got to still do a lot of videos. WrestleMania's coming up, so I've really got a tough time in the especially next 2-3 weeks is going to be full-on, crazy, hectic. Then after that, things will ease off a little bit, but then again, I've got some more exams later on after that. So certainly the next 3 weeks are going to be very, very tough for me, and getting some extra content out and getting all my videos done is going to be very, very difficult. But hey, that's the life I live, and that's the life I've committed to, and I'm going to try and do my best to keep them going. And I do want to apologize for not uploading that many videos over the weekend. I had a friend over. I was away back home. I kind of went away for a week in the last week, so uploading videos has been a bit of an issue. It's been taking a lot longer to upload, but I'm now back, as obviously I had a road trip today, so I'm back at my full normal schedule, so things will be back to normal for the most part, and you'll expect to see more Universe Mode. I've got a new Universe Mode lined up already, a new NBA 2K16 My Career Mode lined up, a GM mode I should say, lined up already, so expect to see a few more of them. And I know people have been wondering what's going on with the SmackDown vs. Raw GM mode. I know I put one up yesterday, but I haven't been able to play my PS2 because obviously I left my PS2 here rather than taking it home with me for a week. So I haven't been able to play it, and I only had the one video stored up. So that will be back to full schedule this week as well. So expect to see more of that. And I think I might do some double uploads this week. I mean, I've got a lot of content I really want to kind of churn out before W2K16 comes, because I know once W2K16 comes, I'm just going to be playing that, and I just won't have time to do. I really don't want to kind of drop back on my NBA. I want to really keep going with that because I'm really, really enjoying that. And I really actually think the videos this time around are actually pretty decent, and I've had a lot of good feedback. I mean, everyone has really been very kind and generous with their feedback towards those videos, so I really am pleased with how that is going. So if you haven't already, make sure you do check that out. And, I've been very, very happy with the way everything's really going, honestly. I've had actually a very good week for my channel this week after a few pretty dull weeks, but this week was actually a really good week for me, even though I didn't upload as much. But, so I really want to thank everyone that's been supporting the NBA stuff. I know that's generally not my bread and butter, but I'm trying to branch out, just small, not completely revamp my channel, because I know what people kind of feel as, I've seen it many times, and YouTubers, they'll kind of establish themselves in one game, and then they'll completely rebrand their channel and kind of forget about that game that made them what they are. And I get that, I get why they do that, but at the same time, you guys subscribe to see the WWE stuff from me, and I want to keep giving you guys the WWE stuff, but I also want to try and grow the channel just a little bit more and kind of bring in a couple extra things here and there. So like I've done the one-off Black Ops video, I've done the one-off Battlefield video, things like that will probably appear more often than not now. I want to try and do more of those types of videos and just do some more things and give some more variety to the channel. So that's what I'm doing with the NBA, and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I hope you guys are as well. So expect to see more of that in this next week. So enough of my channel. I know you guys want me to talk about what's been going on this week in wrestling, so that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to start it off with the Madison Square Garden special event on Saturday, or Sunday morning for me. Honestly, I mean, this show really had nothing to it. This was not a show where you're going to go, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. But for what it is, and what it is it's a house show. It's a glorified house show. It's a televised house show. So there's never going to be any title changes. I mean, the Japan show, I feel as though was different compared to this one. I think the Japan show, I think we all kind of expected something was going to happen there, and obviously the NXT title change is going to happen. The storyline going in made sense to do it there. Whereas here at Madison Square Garden, there really wasn't much sense to kind of make a title change or anything like that. There really wasn't much going on at all. It was just straight up matches. And that's fine, because that's what a house show is all about. A house show is all about just entertaining the crowd, good matches, exciting matches, and just having fun with it. And that's exactly what it was. It was just a good show. And I like the fact that they're doing this. I like the fact that they are televising more of these events. And I know they feel as though they need Brock Lesnar on the card to make anybody watch it. And that's kind of fair enough. But honestly, I wouldn't mind them seeing a house show maybe once a month. Just a house show special once a month, WWE Live once a month, but not in the United States. You know, when they go overseas, when they go to Australia, for example, go to, Asia, you go to a lot of these other European countries, South America, I want to see them go to all these different areas around the world, and I want to see them televise just one house show per tour, perhaps, and, show us what these crowds are doing. How are these crowds reacting to these matches? Because that's what I find interesting. Are people, excited to see Cesaro, people hot for Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, or are they, your typical John Cena crowd, perhaps your Roman Reigns kind of crowd? That's, to me, what I find very interesting. Obviously things aren't going to happen. There's always going to be a DQ or some kind of screwjob finish, so the champion always wins. So that's expected. That's fine. But I wouldn't mind seeing some more of these shows, and he doesn't even have to have Brock Lesnar on the show. Just have your regular guys, and just have these shows as extra content on the network. It doesn't have to be end-all or be-all kind of shows. This is going to market your network. It doesn't have to be that, but it's extra content. If people want to go ahead and watch, a house show that happened, in September, they can go ahead and do that. They've got one house show a month. It's only 12 they have to do a year. And I just think personally, I just feel as though that's extra content for the network and something extra to watch if you want to. It's just there if you want to, because it's something you don't get to see. You can only see it if you're there. How do I know what happens in Switzerland when I wasn't there? So it's something that you can kind of, just extra content you can see that you won't normally get to see. And certainly seeing a WWE event in these different areas around the world, I personally believe would be very interesting. I don't want to see them go to LA or New York. I mean, I know they did New York. Let's not do that again. Like Boston again tonight. I'm just naming off the first 3 cities that come to my head. Sorry, but, I don't want to see them go to these regular places they always go to. Even Chicago, for example. All these places that they always go to, and just have a house show there. I would rather see them when they go overseas and televise these different events from overseas. It doesn't have to be live. You can record it, put it up a week later. Who cares? But, just put one of these up once a month, perhaps, just to give you guys some more stuff to watch. I think that'd be really, really cool. And as a fan, I think it's always good to see more wrestling when you can. And I know there's already plenty of it, but house shows are different compared to SmackDowns and Raws. They're more fun. They trial more things happen. I just think it's a better vibe to the show. And people aren't expecting to see a world title change. People are, just there to have fun and have a good time and see some wrestling. So I think it's just generally a better vibe and a better feel to it. So I just think that overall that would be a pretty cool way to do it. But just to finish off MSG, I was pretty bored with the show, but if it was meant to be like a big special event, it definitely didn't deliver. But if it's meant to be a house show, I was pretty content with it. I mean, the Brock Lesnar match was everything that I expected to be. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, Brock looked like an absolute beast, taking 3 chokeslams in a row and getting back up to his feet every single time, so I thought that was pretty cool. But the rest of the card was average. I did enjoy the steel cage main event as well. So, like I said, overall, it is what it is, and I enjoyed seeing it for the most part as a house show. And if it's, you grade it on a house show, I thought it was good enough. So I'd love to see more of that, like I said. Moving on to this week's Monday Night Raw, though, I really didn't write anything down about this week's Raw because I honestly believe absolutely nothing happened. I mean, the only thing that pops in my mind is Hot Summer Rae, who, by the way, definitely is not hot. She proposed to Rusev. That was quite random and odd, but yes, that happened. We've got a bit of a situation going on right now that's really confusing me. I mean, the tag team thing. I mean, why are the New Day coming after Cena? I mean, 2 weeks in a row now, the New Day is after John Cena. I just don't get what's going on there. I mean, 1 minute they're with the Dudley Boys, the next minute they're going after Cena. I'm just not exactly sure what's going on there. I just think a lot of things are just kind of confusing me. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? I just think overall Monday Night Raw just has no clear direction. They don't know what they're doing. They're just kind of booking anyone against anybody. I mean, a lot of the tag team guys are going up against, main event guys like the Dudley Boys versus Rollins and Kane, why the hell are those two guys teaming up in the first place? I'm not sure what the hell is going on with Raw. I mean, we talked about it last week. We had a huge rant about the ratings and how bad they are and why I think they are bad. And it's just not going to get any better. I believe last week's Raw ratings was probably one of the worst. Actually, I think it might have been the worst rated Raw of all time. So, things are getting really, really bad right now for Monday Night Raw. And if I'm the WWE, I wouldn't be too concerned. I saw an article this week, and I'd take it with a grain of salt. It's probably some idiot who wrote it. But, this guy was talking about how the WWE, the McMahons need to sell the WWE while they can. And I don't think it's to that level. I really don't believe that the WWE is done. I don't believe the WWE is gone and cannot be recovered. It's just the WWE's poor decision-making and their lack of risk-taking. They really don't take any risks. They continuously push the same guys over and over and over, and they're not willing to really take a hit and take a risk and start building up these new talents and positioning these guys in this new spot. So the thing is right now is that, we always have the John Cenas, we always have the Big Shows, we always have the Kanes, the Mark Henrys, these old-time guys that continuously come back to try and recapture people from the Attitude Era or anything other past eras that watched these guys back in the day. The WWE are just kind of appealing to the wrong market. The WWE should be trying to satisfy the people that watch their show every single week, whereas they're trying to appeal to these casual viewers that will only watch it once a month. They're trying to get them to come watch the people that would rather watch football rather than wrestling, whereas the diehards that watch wrestling every week, they don't give a shit what they think. They don't give a shit what they want. That's the problem with the WWE. They're trying to market their show to the wrong audience, and it's just not coming off good at all. So, you want Cesaro to be pushed? No, fuck you. You don't get that. You want Kevin Owens to beat John Cena and be booked, straight into the main event and be a future top guy for the company? No, fuck you. We're going to have Cena win and Kevin Owens can, be in the mid-card doing nothing and versing Sin Cara. So, things are just not good right now at the WWE. And, I'm not exactly sure what they can do to fix things. I mean, I really think it all comes down to the lack of stories being told. Monday Night Raw, really, it was just a lot of, matches, then, we're going to fight each other after the match for no reason, and then we'll run in for the save, and that's that, it's just a lot of fighting. There wasn't really any storylines going on, there wasn't really storytelling going on, and that's what I really believe what has been missing in the WWE product for a lot of years now. Back, I hate to bring it up, but back in the Attitude Era in the early 2000s, there was a lot of storytelling. There was some great storytelling being told. Sometimes it was pretty bad, other times it was golden. But at least if it's bad, it's still a storyline. Even as bad as the Summer Rae, Rusev, and the Ziggler and Lana thing has been, it's still a storyline. It's still something. And I would rather bad than nothing at all. So there just is a lack of stories being told in the ring and through the promos and everything like that in the WWE right now. And that's what I personally am missing out on. That's why I like wrestling. I like wrestling for the storylines. I like wrestling for the drama. That's why I like it. Just watching straight up matches every week, I find myself on my computer not paying attention. I find myself on my phone not paying attention. But when someone's talking in a promo, when, you know, something storyline orientated is going down, I am invested in that and I want to watch that. And when the storyline culminates with a match on a pay-per-view, that's when I'm watching. That's when my eyes are glued to the TV. You know, when Brock Lesnar and Undertaker had a match at SummerSlam, when that storyline culminated, I was glued to my TV. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And again, at Hell in a Cell, that's what I'm really, really looking forward to right now. I'm actually very, very excited to see that match. And that's really the one thing that's kind of keeping me going right now, is seeing that match. And as much as I think The Undertaker should be on Raw the same weeks that Lesnar is, at least to try and build this thing up a little bit more, you know, I still think they've done a good enough job to keep my interest in that. So I just think right now the lack of storylines is just making Raw boring. And having matches every week, I mean, we can see that anywhere else and probably better matches. It's just the lack of storylines, in my personal opinion, is really making the show a bit of a drag. And this week's Raw was definitely a drag. And I try and find the positives in wrestling as much as I can, but there was just really nothing that I was very positive about in this show. I know some people have been complaining, oh, you're too negative, but I know I've been negative because the show, it hasn't deserved a positive review, and there's the ratings to back that up, and I think a lot of people would definitely agree with me that the last few Raws have been pretty bad. And something has to be done. The rumor is right now is Vince McMahon is back in full control of creative. I'm not even sure if that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. I think personally, Vince McMahon is better off looking towards Triple H, who's been running a successful NXT program. And Vince McMahon, in his last 10 years, hasn't really accomplished all that much. You know, if anything, wrestling has just been a slow decline. And it's just been on the back of this nobody really that interesting to watch. There's nobody that you would go, oh my god, I need to pay $100 to see this guy wrestle tonight. There really is nobody. For the kids, maybe there's John Cena, but, I mean, for anybody else, would you really want to see John Cena? No. So, there's a lack of characters at the top position. Seth Rollins, they're trying to make him a champion. He's been champion for 7 months now, so he's had a long, lengthy reign. He's doing okay, but the booking he's been receiving just isn't working for him. It's just the decision-making is really, really not working. And I don't know if it's the writers. I don't know if it's Vince McMahon. But I think it's also a reason that the guys are so heavily scripted as well that you can just tell they're reading off a script in their mind. There's just no creative freedom. There's really just is no creativity. The personality of the person isn't shining through their characters. So, we saw in yesteryears where everyone would come out and they would create their own stories. They pitch their own storylines. They would create their own promos. Yes, they'd be told to say a few things here, bullet points, but for the most part, they would just go out there and, speak their mind and play off each other. And it was organic. It was entertaining. It was great. Now, you just look at Randy Orton and you can just tell he's reading off a script. Summer Rae, when she was cutting her promo today, you can tell she's reading off a script. Just so much is just not natural, and it really just plays off and really just looks bad. I mean, the Bellas have to go as well. Their promos, please don't give them a mic anymore. I like Nikki to a degree, but even then, I'm just starting to get a bit tired of this Bellas thing. It's just, the promos are just so awful, and especially Brie. She's terrible. I mean, it's just horrible. Sasha Banks getting a win in her hometown was cool. I thought she did a pretty decent promo. I thought, she did a good job. I'm not sure what's going on with Team Bad. They haven't really been using them all that much, and I personally believe that they've got a lot of potential. Certainly Sasha Banks, I think she's probably the best out of the new crop of divas. And I don't know if it's because she's still kind of connected to NXT? Is that why they're kind of reluctant to kind of push her in a prominent position on Raw? But I think she needs more airtime. I think she should be in a prominent position. I think, Team Bad versus the Bellas, perhaps you do that, and have, Sasha win, and then you start to build Sasha towards the championship, and I think Sasha should have the belt, at least at the beginning of the year, and probably heading into WrestleMania. I would like to see Sasha Banks as the champion into WrestleMania, because I think Sasha Banks probably offers the most as a Divas champion. I mean, she's got a good promo. She's fantastic in the ring. I think she's got the overall package. And I didn't really think she was all that great looking, but, I watched the NXT live panel that they did on the network, and, man, she looked fantastic. So I've kind of eaten my words a little bit on her looks as well. Not that it really matters all that much, but, I never really thought of her as that attractive. But, she's definitely a good-looking woman the more that I kind of see of her. So overall, I think Sasha's got a great overall package to her, and I think she could really elevate and be the leader of the Divas division that they need. There is no Divas Revolution. We've established that. I still wish they would stop saying it on TV, but I'm hoping that Sasha gets a little bit more TV time and they start to kind of give her more of a prominent position. Probably when she loses on the NXT TakeOver Respect special, which we're going to talk about in a second. I think she'll probably be losing there. And after that, she might get more of a prominent TV role on Raw. The other rumor going around is that John Cena is taking some time off. I think it's about 6 weeks he's taking off, which I think is much needed for John. I mean, I'm not sick of John Cena, but I think for the guy and for the company, it's a good thing that he's taking time off. 6 weeks is probably not enough. I think he probably could take time off all the way through to after the Royal Rumble and have him come back for WrestleMania season. So there's no real need to have him on the show right now. They don't really need John Cena. So he's going to be taking time off at the beginning of November, so he'll probably be coming back just before the Royal Rumble or something like that. But I would probably keep him off TV for an extra few weeks after that. Probably a couple weeks before, I'm guessing it's still Fastlane. I would probably bring him back then and build him towards his WrestleMania match. But it's good that he's taking some time off. The problem is, though, it's not really going to result in too much. I think everyone's like, oh my god, Cena's taking time off. They're going to push somebody. They're going to make a new star, but there's not really enough time to start doing that. And with WrestleMania's not that far away, so WrestleMania around the corner, there really is a small likelihood that anybody will be pushed into a prominent position. I mean, they've really done a terrible job this year. You look at Seth Rollins. I mean, he's the top guy right now, but, how many of you guys really believe that he could kick anyone's ass? I don't believe he can beat anybody. So, that's not good. Dean Ambrose could have been the top guy, but instead they wanted Seth Rollins instead, and Roman Reigns as well, so they've kind of kicked Dean Ambrose to the curb and not really focused on him, and that's quite prominent as well, considering the fact that Hell in a Cell, it's Bray versus Roman Reigns, Hell in a Cell, which I'm all for. I'm pretty happy about that one. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So Ambrose is being kind of kicked aside. Rusev could have been something. Cesaro, obviously could have been something. Bray Wyatt has had such a bad couple of years. He's finally on the recovery. Thank goodness for that. And, the only the only people that are doing well is the New Day. And I wouldn't say that the WWE themselves have anything to do with that. I think it's just the New Day themselves, being the New Day and working well together. And the New Day standing tall at the end of Raw, I suppose, really goes to show that the WWE kind of serious in pushing these guys. I kind of saw the New Day as a bit of a comedy act and, very, very entertaining, and guys that had to cheat all the time to win a championship and win their matches. But now they're kind of beating some guys up. They beat the hell out of Ziggler. They dragged him out. They're kind of being a little bit more vicious, a little bit more, brutal. So the New Day are kind of stepping up their game a little bit and really showing us what they're kind of made of. And now the New Day, I'm taking them a little bit more seriously. I think they're going to try and push them into more of a serious and prominent position on TV. And that's quite evident by them being in the main event this week. So the New Day looking pretty good. So just to finish up on Cena, I just think it's good for him to kind of refresh himself. I'm not sure if he's going to drop the title, though. I mean, I have no idea who they're kind of going to put towards Cena. They haven't really given Cena a feud. I mean, they're kind of doing a couple things with the New Day back and forth, but that's really about it. And the New Day already have something with the Dudley Boys anyway, so that's not really a feud. So I think they've kind of been a little bit reluctant to give John Cena a feud, and this is probably the reason why, because they know he's going to be taking some time off. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in the US title. Perhaps the New Day injure John Cena and make him take time off, but it is John Cena again. John Cena never gets hurt, never gets injured. If he does, he's there the next week, so that wouldn't make any sense. So I have no idea how they're going to take time. Cena's going to take time off. Maybe John Cena just says, you know what? There's no one good enough to defend my title against, and I'm just going to take 6 weeks off. Well, that's what John Cena would say if he actually had an element of edge and, not a smiley goofball every single week. But I have no idea how they're going to take Cena off TV, and I think the injury angle is probably the most likely, but even then, I doubt that, so I have no idea. So maybe they'll do something with the Authority, and John Cena gets fired or something like that. Or gets suspended for 6 weeks for whatever reason. You know what they, make up some stupid excuse. But so that's good news, I suppose, that Cena's taking time off. And I'm not a big Cena hater, but I think it's just good for the man himself and for the company that Cena takes a little bit of time off, refresh himself, and the WWE can kind of see what they can do without John Cena and not having to rely on him for so long. Hulk Hogan, he's back. He's back on the WWE Network this week. He has been featured once again on the network. Some of his featured programs, such as the rivalries with Roddy Piper, and I think he had a documentary as well. Things like that are back on the network. They were taken down after the scandal, but the WWE have kind of quietly put them back on there, kind of under the radar, low key, putting Hulk Hogan back on the network. And about time. I mean, trying to kind of erase this guy from history is nearly impossible, and it's just beyond ridiculous that they've even tried to do it over a guy. Yes, he fucked up, he was racist, but he didn't, it's not to the extent of Chris Benoit or anything like that. I don't think it really is necessary. Just don't talk about the guy. You don't have to throw everything out the window. Just, he's not in the company, just don't talk about him. They did it for years when he didn't do anything wrong. When he went to TNA, they just didn't really talk about Hogan all that much. They just don't have to do that. They just don't talk about him as much as they used to. Don't mention him when you're talking about legends. They certainly haven't been doing that. But there's no need to kind of erase him from everything and try and take every bit of content off the network that involves Hulk Hogan, because you'll be there for days trying to edit everything out, and it will just be ridiculous. So Hulk Hogan back on the network is a good thing, and as much as I don't know if I dislike Hulk Hogan, but I just think the guy is fucked up enough, and let's just put the guy on the network. It's just ridiculous to try and even attempt to erase him from history. So NXT TakeOver Respect this Wednesday, and I'm surprised it actually came along so quickly. But yes, the TakeOver special this Wednesday. I am really just tuning in to see the women's match, honestly. I think the 30-minute women's match will be pretty sweet. I mean, an Iron Man match, we haven't seen one of those in a while. It's quite rare that we kind of get those matches. And as well, have we ever seen one between women? I have no idea. Perhaps we probably have, but I've never seen one. Certainly, we haven't seen women main event a pay-per-view or a special event before. So this is big, and this is exciting. This is awesome. This is what the revolution is. NXT. The women in NXT are fantastic. Unfortunately, NXT has lost a lot of those women to the main roster now. But Sasha Banks is kind of finishing up her run on NXT with a match against Bayley for the Women's Championship, which I think is going to be pretty sweet. And like I said, I think Bayley will probably keep the championship. I'm not a big NXT watcher. I only really watch the TakeOver specials, so I haven't been following any of the storylines. I know the Tag Team Classics going on. I know that Finn Balor or Samoa Joe will probably turn on one another. The rumor has it, I think, it's Finn Balor going to turn heel. I think Samoa Joe should probably turn heel, in my personal opinion. I think Joe as a monster heel would work better for himself anyways. I think we really want to kind of cheer Finn Balor anyways. I'd rather Finn Balor as the babyface, to be honest with you. So I hope they kind of turn a Joe heel rather than Balor. And then a Joe versus Balor feud for the NXT title will be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And honestly, I have no idea what the rest of the card is. But like I said, not a big NXT watcher. And I've explained this in the past. I just feel as though I'd rather watch the guys on the main roster in front of, in the big times. I don't watch the minor leagues. I don't watch the reserve grades. I watch the main roster. And I know people try and say NXT is not a developmental territory, but it is. It is. It's the NXT is developmental, and it's the same time as well. You see people on NXT, and you start rooting for them on NXT, and their whole character and persona gets completely changed and repackaged when they get to the main roster. So you see all this great work on NXT, only for it to be destroyed quite quickly when they get to the main roster. So it's quite depressing at the same time. And speaking of Finn Balor, he visited TNA this week. He was outside their headquarters in Nashville, giving the old suck it TNA and the crotch sign. And I thought it was just funny. I know some people didn't like it, but I thought it was just funny. I mean, I thought I found it as Finn Balor kind of saying "suck it" to TNA, that you never wanted to, that you didn't try to sign me, that you didn't approach me. Because TNA, they had their Bound for Glory pay-per-view, and we'll talk about that in a second. But TNA, they had a lot of guys on the indies that are now in the WWE, and you kind of ask yourself, why didn't these guys go to the TNA? Why didn't Kevin Owens go to TNA? Why didn't Finn Balor go to TNA? Why didn't Hideo Itami go to TNA? Sammy, all these guys that are now in the WWE doing well, and you're thinking, wow, all these great guys in the indies. Why didn't TNA pick up any of these guys? Was TNA that bad that none of these guys wanted to work there? I mean, can't be as bad as working on the indies for a couple $100 a night. But TNA, can certainly offer a decent contract and, some decent cash. So I'm not surprised that some of these guys never went to TNA. Was it because of TNA just thinking, well, we can't sign these new talents, these guys with a bit of a name, we have to sign ex-WWE guys. We can't get these guys in the indies and build them up. That won't work. No one will watch. That's not going to draw ratings. This is TNA's just bad mindset and poor scouting and just poor talent management. Probably. Let's be honest. It probably is. Speaking of TNA, they had their Bound for Glory pay-per-view. I didn't watch it, but I just want to say they hyped up a big third announcer to the announcement team, and they hyped it up. Who's going to be the third announcer? Who's going to be? They hyped it up as this big thing, and guess what? Nobody showed up. There was no third announcer. Nobody was the third announcer. You hyped someone up to be the third announcer, and no one is the third announcer. Apparently the rumor is whoever it was going to be, no show. Well, at least you can put someone in from the back and have them come in and do some commentary, because you look like idiots. You look like C-level idiots. This is terrible. Who in the right mind thought it was a good idea to hype this up, post it all over social media? Oh my God, someone's big is coming in to do announcing for us at Bound for Glory, and nobody shows up. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And another reason why TNA just hasn't been taken seriously in such a long time, because they make these, rookie errors. They're just terrible. They just look terrible for the company. And, they only have a few more TVs to go until they will be off Destination America. So, once again, the TNA future is certainly in doubt. Bound for Glory will probably be their last ever pay-per-view, and I'm guessing their buy rate won't be that extravagant, and they did get a decent turnout. I'm hearing like 1,200 people kind of turned out for the pay-per-view, so that's a decent attendance. But the kicker is, most of them were free. Most of them were free tickets, and free tickets though, maybe merchandise sales, maybe concession sales. That's cool, but still, nobody paying to come see the show is a bad thing. And it just means that TNA is just in a lot of trouble. TNA, it's on its last legs. Unfortunately, the ratings are really, really bad. 350,000 people watching TNA every week is not good at all. And it looks as though TNA is just, with these kind of mistakes, it just makes me not want to even attempt to get back into the product. You hype up something, it's just ridiculous. So, unfortunately, TNA, another blunder this week. So, what is Brendan playing this week? So, we'll kind of get towards the end of the show this week. So, what is Brendan playing? FIFA 16, and NBA 2K16 has been my two chosen games. you guys have seen me been playing a lot of NBA, and I've been enjoying that, but my friend brought around FIFA 16, and I am planning on getting it myself, but I finally got back into FIFA. My first FIFA game I'm going to get since FIFA 13. I'm enjoying the FIFA. I'm not great at it, but I'm enjoying the challenge of getting better. And the Ultimate Team is fun. And I like the GM mode on it too, and things like that. The management modes and the be a pro mode. I like those modes. I think they're pretty good. So I'm definitely going to get in FIFA. As well as that, I finally got back on the Xbox One. Finally. And I played some Forza Horizon 2. I actually played quite a lot of that. And I also got a chance to check out the Rainbow Six beta as well. Thanks to somebody on Twitter sending me that code. I really do appreciate that. You know who I'm talking about if that was you. So I really appreciate the code. And I played a bit of it, and I don't mind it. I mean, it's very, very challenging. Very difficult, I think. I mean, I wasn't really understanding it all that much. Wasn't really sure what was going on, and there's a lot of elements to the game that I'm not quite used to, but it's very team-orientated, which I like. I think that's pretty cool. So if you had a team of friends playing it, it would be amazing. It'd be really, really good. So from what I played the beta, I'm not sold on it. I'll wait for some reviews, but I'll definitely keep my eye on it. Star Wars beta is coming up this week as well. Star Wars, the shooter from DICE. What is it? Star Wars Battlefront? I'm forgetting what it's called, the name of it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So that's coming out soon as well, the beta for that. So I'm definitely going to be checking that one out, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it next week. So I might even, stream it, perhaps. We'll see what I'm doing this week. But that looks pretty interesting as well. I mean, Star Wars is certainly something I do not like. I don't mind the games though. I don't like the movies, but I like the games. I think the games are pretty cool. I mean, when I think of the games, I think of the Nintendo 64 games, to be honest. The Star Wars Racer and the other Star Wars game. I can't remember what it was called, but a couple of Nintendo 64 games. I loved those as a kid. They were great. But let's be honest, that's probably the last Star Wars games I've ever played. I don't know if there's even been any other ones, but yeah, it's cool to see this kind of back, and it's something different, and it's a shooter, and I love my shooters, so I may pick this one up this year. I'm not sure. Definitely the beta will kind of convince me. If I like the beta, I'll probably end up getting the game, but yeah, so the beta coming out this week, that should be something that I'll definitely be checking out and looking forward to. And yeah, so it was good to get back on the Xbox, to be honest. It's been a while since I played. In fact, I haven't played it since April. I know, that's a long time. So I haven't played my Xbox since April. So it was cool to get back on it and play some of my games. I really wanted to play Halo, but I left it here. I forgot to bring it with me. I left my Xbox at my other house, and I forgot to bring all my games. So I only had what was in there, and that was Forza. So I fucked up. I fucked up. So unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to play some of those, but I'm looking forward to perhaps getting Halo 5 as well. I didn't even realize that was coming out at the end of the month, so I'll probably get that maybe in December or something like that when I go back and have my Xbox. So I'm not sure, but certainly a lot of games I'm looking forward to. This is a great couple of months for gaming right now. So many great games coming out. In fact, too many great games coming out. There won't be enough time in the day to play them all, but I'm looking forward to it, and I have been in a gaming rut, and I'm really trying to break out of that. I'm really looking forward to the next couple months of gaming. Certainly, WWE 2K16 is going to keep me busy. NBA 2K is keeping me busy, and probably FIFA. So a lot of casual games is what I'm playing right now. Haven't been able to get into any hardcore games. I really want to go back and keep going with The Witcher and Dragon Age and games like that. But I just don't have enough time to really invest in it, because those are games you need to kind of sit down for 2 weeks and play them. So I haven't had enough time to kind of invest the time that I would like to into those games. But trying to get out of my gaming rut, and looking forward to seeing what happens in the next few weeks of gaming. Alrighty guys, so that's going to do it with What Is Brendan Playing. We have a few fan questions as well that I want to get into to close out the show. So let's go check out this week's voicemails.
Hey Brendan, this is Mike Adams from the forums. And I want to know, are you going to be using Stephanie McMahon or any of the McMahon family for your 2K16 Universe mode? Thanks.
This is an interesting one, because I've been very reluctant in using women. And that's not to be sexist, it's because if I was going to use Stephanie McMahon, I want to do promos and things like that with her. And obviously, I can't voice act, so I can't put on a woman's voice. So if I was to do a promo with her, it would be me sounding like this. And that's not exactly going to sound all that greatly. So, that's why you don't see kind of any talking promos with me and the women in the game when I do my promos, like I've been doing the last few episodes of Universe Mode. But maybe I could bring in Stephanie somehow. I'm not exactly sure. I probably could see myself using Vince, and if Triple H counts, I'm obviously going to use him. And Shane's in the game, right? So I could probably see myself maybe using Shane. I'm not sure. So I could see myself using the McMahons, probably not Stephanie in a kind of authority figure role. I'm not sure how I would kind of use it, perhaps as a manager. That would really be about it.
Hi Brendan, once you get to WrestleMania on Universe Mode, will you end it until 2K16? Then your first Raw after WrestleMania will be on the new game. Thanks.
Oh yes, 100%. 100% I will be ending it after WrestleMania. I'm hoping I can even get to WrestleMania, let alone going further than that. And starting off the new game, WWE 2K16, on the night after WrestleMania is really the perfect starting point. And I know a lot of people want me to do WrestleMania on the new game, but I think doing it on 2K15 just kind of wraps everything up, and we can kind of start afresh on the new game. We have the draft on the first night, on the first episode of the game, so people can kind of understand what's going on a little bit better as well. So I think it's just really the perfect stopping point in W2K15, and there's only 20-something days to go, so I'm definitely not going to be able to do any more videos. I don't want to do like 2 episodes and then start 2K16 on week 3 of April. It'd just be stupid. So obviously I'm going to end it at WrestleMania and start afresh after that. Alrighty, so some questions sent in on the YouTube and the forums. First one comes from Oakley Tiger. He has 2 questions. Do you think Kevin Owens will ever hold the World Heavyweight Championship? And will Becky Lynch ever be Divas Champion? I say yes to both, honestly. I think Kevin Owens has everything to every attribute needed to be a main event guy. Probably apart from the look. But I don't think the look is really going to hinder his chances. We've obviously seen a lot of out-of-shape guys, a lot of big guys be world champions. It's not really an issue. But Kevin Owens can cut a good promo, great in the ring, entertaining, has a good character. I just think he has all the tools to be a world champion. It just seems as though there's some indifferent booking going on for him backstage. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Kind of pushing, then de-pushing. Not sure what's going on there, so that might be the only thing that might hold him back. And as for Becky Lynch, let's be honest, every diva basically gets a run with the title. If they're not absolutely drizzling shit in the ring, they will get a run with the Divas Championship at some point. I mean, we've had Brie, we've had Alicia Fox even, I mean, everyone kind of gets a turn. So, yes, I mean, we had Layla as well, everyone gets a turn with that freaking title. So, yes, I can see Becky Lynch winning championship. She's still young, she's going to have plenty of years, and while she may be kind of the third wheel right now in her team, and one of the lesser, important figures in this whole Divas thing right now, in 2 years' time, I think she might be one of the top divas we have. Next up comes from Edgar Onjoko. I'm hoping I'm saying it. I'm probably saying it horribly, but let's give it a go. He wants to know, what do you think of WWE's interesting approach of putting guys who aren't appearing on main event or superstars, like Zack Ryder or Adam Rose, on NXT? And who else would you put down there? I think it's a good thing. You repackage these guys on NXT, and that's what NXT is for, developmental. And we've seen it so many times. Guys go away, they would go to FCW, they'd repackage themselves, find a new gimmick and work on it and improve themselves in the ring, improve their character, improve all elements of their game. And that's what NXT should be for, as well as bringing in new guys and developing them into something for the future. You can also use it to go and repackage other guys who aren't being used. So I think it's a great thing. I would probably put Heath Slater down there because he's just not being used at all. I think he's a guy who deserves something. Maybe Fandango. Perhaps you might try and find something else for him. Some other guys, I'm not exactly sure. That's probably the first couple of names that pop in my mind. But it's obviously, mainly you're looking at lower mid-card guys. Perhaps Jack Swagger as well. He hasn't been doing much at all. So some guys who probably are good enough to be doing something, but are just need a repackage, need something. I would put them down and try something different with them. I think Adam Rose is doing something new. I think he might have had a promo or something. I didn't see it on Raw. I think I saw a video on YouTube or something like that. I didn't watch it because it's Adam Rose, but I think I saw something that was in my subscription box, but I think he might be doing something different. So I think NXT is a great way to kind of repackage guys. Look at Tyson Kidd, for example. He kind of went down there and he kind of found a little bit of a personality down there. He became a little bit more interesting than what he was, certainly, and certainly helped him out until he fortunately got injured. Another one from Edgar. He wants to know, who's your favourite of the Four Horsewomen? Also, do you think WWE creative should disband these stupid factions and have these talented women, especially his favourite in Sasha Banks, just slug it out for the Divas Championship? Agreed. Definitely agree. The tag team thing is just played out and it's not working. Let's just move on from there. Let's just have these women go after the title. I think the tag team thing is just to kind of give everyone something to do, and really it was just a way to kind of keep the Divas thing going without it really being focused around the title. Now obviously the title's changed hands and things are all about the title, so having all these women just have these random matches now teaming up, it's just kind of a bit pointless when the title is really what they're all kind of focusing on. So I think I'd rather see them kind of split apart and all go for the titles. And I certainly don't want to see a second women's title, certainly don't want to see a women's tag title. Just have the one Divas Championship, let's just leave it at that and let them all fight over it. And that's what it should be all about, winning the Divas Championship, being the champion. And who's my favourite of the Four Horsewomen? I guess I'm going to say Sasha Banks by default. I don't really have a particular favourite because I haven't really watched enough of them to become a fan. And what I'm seeing on Raw is making them dislike them rather than like them. So I'll probably say Sasha Banks by default. Next one comes from James Murkison. Do you think 2K will bring GMO back to the WWE franchise? No, I don't. I did pitch a GM mode concept on my channel a couple months ago, which I thought was pretty cool. If you haven't already, do check that out, where I give about a 10-15 minute concept on how I would do GM mode on the W2K series. Obviously, GM mode, in my personal opinion, needs competition. It needs a rivalry. It needs an opponent. So that's really the reason why we probably won't see GM mode back, because there's nobody diverse. In NBA 2K16 GM mode, you have 30 teams diverse, competing against each other. In WWE GM mode, who do you compete against? Yourself. Nobody. So I came up with a concept that I put up on my channel a couple months ago. Check that out. I actually don't even remember what it was, but I thought it was pretty cool. But that was my way of how I would do GM mode. So if you haven't already, do check that out on my channel. Next one from Cameron Chrisamore. He wants to know, for Patreon, could you do a show about universe mode suggestions? I think I probably could. I think I can give some tips and tricks. I know a lot of people have actually been asking me quite a lot, how do I make my universe mode good? How do I do this for my universe mode? So a lot of people are asking me for advice, so maybe I need to spend some time giving people advice. But honestly, I really don't have anything insightful to say other than, book your own shows and make it your own. With my show, I added in a lot of things. I added in the promos, I added in storyline elements. I kind of go the extra mile to really go full on with it. And I've created my own brand, my own version of WWE that's been going for a couple of years now. So there's a lot of history, there's a lot of everything behind my show. So it creates interest for that element because it has that history and it has that brand war as well. It has so much to it. So you really have to kind of go your extra mile and not kind of just play the matches. You really have to kind of create your own show. And with the new 2K16 adding those extra customization elements back into the game, I think you'll be able to do that a lot better. Next one comes from Fritz Golden Fenning. I'm just going to say Fritz. I don't know what's with people, so many confusing names, but he wants to know, when are we going to see Rollins lose the W title? It's so boring. I'm not even interested in the main event stuff anymore because it's build him up, kick Rollins' ass, then at the pay-per-view lose. So build it up, and then build it up by kicking Rollins' ass, and then Rollins wins at the pay-per-view. They keep on kicking his ass, then suddenly suck at the pay-per-view, then lose. What the fuck? I don't even know who will beat him. I have no idea. He forgot to put a comma in any of that question. But I'm not a grammar Nazi, so let's move on. But anyways, when is Rollins going to lose the title? It has to be soon, right? I mean, it has to be soon with Sheamus. Because you can't have Sheamus going into WrestleMania as champion, because that would be god-awful. So Sheamus needs to get that Money in the Bank the hell out of there and cash in already so we can suffer a couple months of Sheamus as our champion, and then Sheamus can drop it to whoever. I have no idea. I mean, is it going to be Reigns? Is it going to be Ambrose? Is it going to be even maybe Bray Wyatt? Is it going to be Brock Lesnar again? I have no idea what they're going for. There really is no clear direction either. Normally you have someone on the rise, but you don't really in this circumstance, because you've got Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt and all these guys that probably would be the next in line, all feuding with each other in these tag team situations, so they're not really focused on the title. There's not really a number one contendership feud going on, so there's no real clear-cut next guy in line. And I think that's where they're going wrong. So I guess the next guy is going to be Sheamus, and when's he going to lose it? When's Rollins going to lose it? It has to be in the next couple of months, surely. I mean, it has to be soon. Next one from Alfonso Henrique wants to know, what do you think about Carlito possibly returning to the WWE? I heard he got offered a contract that was substantially lower than what he wanted, so he declined. I mean, they kind of gave him an insulting offer, I believe. But Carlito back would be kind of cool. I think, no pun intended, but I think he was pretty good back in his day, and I think he could offer something. I mean, you can pair him up with the Matadors and repackage them, which the rumor is that they are going to repackage the Matadors, and do something with them and see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Carlito, he's still got some years left in him. Wasn't exactly a major star at any time, so I'm not sure how he will be received if he does come back. But I think he could offer something. I think he could certainly be a decent addition to the roster. And we've seen the Dudley Boys come back. You know, we see some old guys coming in and out all the time. And I don't think it's a bad thing to be bringing in these guys who, you know, have been established and bringing them in and working with these younger guys. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, focusing on new talent all the time, it's obviously not working because, you know, they're not getting these new talents over. And they're going to blame the new talents on that, but it's really WWE's fault. So bringing in these guys that, you know, got a bit of a name for themselves might not be such a bad idea. This one comes from Bad News Bullet. He wants to know my thoughts on Matt Hardy winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and do I think it'll be a short reign until his contract expires in February 2016? Honestly, I don't even think TNA is going to have a world title in February 2016, but I think it's okay. I mean, I think I would rather have seen EC3 keep the championship. I'm not sure why he dropped the title. I know he didn't get pinned for it. But Matt Hardy winning, I mean, it's his first world title. Do they just want to give Matt Hardy this, you know, glory run for saying thank you for being in TNA, this kind of thank you short run? I have no idea. It will be short, that's for sure. Matt Hardy, I'd never really seen him as a main event world champion caliber guy at all, ever. So it just goes to show that you can be a world champion in TNA no matter who you are. But yeah, I just think it's a bit of a thank you, probably. I mean, I think EC3 is their guy, and they're very lucky to have EC3 because, you know, WWE didn't want him, and EC3 is showing us what he's made of and what he's capable of doing. So I'm not sure why they dropped the title off him. I would rather see EC3 as the champion, but it's TNA, and honestly, I don't watch it anymore, so I could care less. But yeah, it's just interesting to see what they're doing there. It's another one of their crazy decisions. Maybe they're trying to do a title change to pop a rating, pop some interest. Perhaps that's really what it's all about. This one from Samir. Do you think WWE will ever go 14 plus again or stay PG? Because in my opinion, WWE is losing money because of the PG era. I don't think WWE is losing money. I think the WWE are doing just fine. Their sponsorships are much better as a PG product. You look at the Attitude Era, though, it was in the 90s. And the 90s was, you know, very reflective of how the Attitude Era was. It was crazy. It was, you know, it was just all over the place. You know, it was a much, much different time to what it is now. And I only lived a few years of my life when I was very, very young in the 90s. So I didn't live through that time. But certainly I'm living through today's time. And today's time is very PG. Politically correct is this era. We are in the politically correct era. If you say something controversial, if you say something that's out there, you have to apologize for it because it's too bad. You know, it's terrible the way society is right now. The WWE could never get away with doing a Attitude Era style show again. the Attitude Era, we're having people, chicks coming out, nearly naked, for goodness sake. They could never get away with doing anything like that ever again, because the way that we are right now, people would just, be all over the internet. Oh my god, did you see this? This is terrible. Feminists would be horrified. Families would stop watching. It would just be bad for business, and sponsors would be going nuts. The society cannot do or say anything that's wrong right now. Anything controversial is outlawed, and if the WWE tried to go back to being controversial again, it would probably end very, very badly. It'd be entertaining for us, but they would not really draw in the viewers that they would have done in the 90s, because being like that isn't reflective on our current society. The WWE needs to kind of match their products to current trends, and the current trend is definitely not attitude. So no, it would definitely not work, and I don't think they are losing money because of it. I think it's just, this is what they have to do. This is what they have to do to survive in this current age that we're living in right now. Final question today comes from Sandman. There are rumors of a possible John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler feud. It is also said that the feud could tie in with Dolph Ziggler and the Nikki Bella romance angle happening in Total Divas. What are your thoughts on this, and do you think this could be a good idea? We did see John Cena and Ziggler in the same ring tonight. I know Ziggler accidentally hit John Cena in the head with a super kick, but I think this would be terrible. I mean, if you honestly believe that this storyline on Total Divas is legitimate, then you are a fool, and I have some bad news for you. This is fake. If you really believe that Dolph Ziggler was trying to take John Cena's woman, do you think Dolph Ziggler would be on TV, let alone in the company right now? There's no chance! This is clearly just a storyline for Total Divas, just to kind of give a bit of a cliffhanger, create a bit of interest, something somewhat controversial. Oh my god, Dolph Ziggler's trying to take Nikki Bella away from Cena. It's just a way to kind of attract some viewers, and as far as I know, it didn't really work because not many people watched the Total Divas season finale. But yes, this storyline is clearly a load of shit, and it would not be a good idea to do it on TV, because that would mean Dolph Ziggler has to turn heel, and I don't think anybody wants to see Dolph Ziggler as a heel, to be honest with you. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Let's Talk Tuesdays. If you did enjoy it, make sure you smash the like button on YouTube and spread the show. Spread the show around. Tell your friends about Let's Talk Tuesdays. Keep downloading the show on iTunes, supporting it on Spreaker and Stitcher and iHeartRadio as well. Help us gain in the rankings and gain more exposure around in the podcast world. I really want to thank everyone that's been supporting the show. We've obviously been doing very, very well on Spreaker. I really want to say thanks and appreciate all of you guys that have been watching every single week. That's really, really cool. So I know some of you guys just like the Universe Mode stuff, and some of you like the GMO stuff, but it's really cool that you guys come along and listen to Let's Talk Tuesdays as well. I think, honestly, if you listen to the podcast, I think you're a true fan. You're a true fan of Brendan Plays, and you are awesome. So thank you from me to you. You are awesome, and I really cannot thank you enough for continuing the support of the show. We've been doing very, very well, and I'm looking forward to ranting more about wrestling in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully it gets a little better. It's been a bit of a dull week, but hey, we still got a bit of a show out of it. Some things happened this week, so I'm pretty happy. Alrighty guys, that's enough rambling from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's show, and make sure you subscribe as well and leave a rating on iTunes if you haven't already, and just like I said, keep supporting the show, and I'll see you all guys next Tuesday.